Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Full insult the entire time.
Usually some sort of like a title and stuff, and I've messed it up in the past, so I'm trying to ask more.
Currently, I guess, co-founder and CEO at Acuvera.
Founder, CEO, Acuvera. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You got it.
Soon to be something different, maybe.
We'll edit it in.
We'll talk about that.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of This Week in ZA, the podcast where we dive into the world of software engineering over a slice of pizza. My name's Kodad, here with my host Chad on the other side. And every week we sit down with a guest from the industry to talk culture, projects, and everything in between while eating some great food. Today's guest is Steve Kiene, the co-founder and CEO of Acuvera. We are eating the veggie from Ramos to continue the theme of season 2. So stick around, hear some great insights, share a laugh, and maybe get a little bit hungry. So let's dig in.
Yep. And real quick, I've known Steve since 2005-ish, somewhere in there. I met Steve in a bathroom. True story. I just want to throw that out right off the bat. First introduction with Steve was in a bathroom. But you're also, founder of Nebraska Global Don't Panic Labs as well. So pretty much everybody here knows you to some degree. But, we're eating some Ramos, some great pizza here. And I always like to kind of start off with the same thing. What is your biggest or your funniest mistake you've made?
Besides hiring you?
Yeah, besides hiring me.
The second time we had that response.
Did Doug say the same thing?
Something like that.
Yeah, that sounds like that sounds like exactly like.
Funny. Well, biggest and funniest would definitely be different.
Ooh.
My biggest mistake, and hey, you know me at full. I have no boundaries, and I tell everything. My biggest mistake would be not listening to my lawyer and getting a prenup.
Oh.
So you can read between the lines on that one.
Yeah.
3 years and $400,000 of legal fees and divorce.
Just the legal fees?
Uh-huh.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's
pissed away a lot of college funds there.
But, most certainly a good lesson to learn.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I get reminded of that quite often.
Yeah.
But no,
That doesn't sound very funny though.
No, it was not really funny.
Yeah, I just like thinking about the humor component.
Yeah,
not good.
Funniest mistake. There's probably so many to pick from. I'm sure you know plenty.
Yeah, I know some.
Boy, funniest. That's a. It's got to be something tied into a trade show and unions and yeah. So I'm cheap, or frugal is the politically correct way to put it, I suppose, and that definitely extends to business. So every year that we would go to trade shows, I was always trying to cut corners, save money wherever we can. I'm also a do-it-yourselfer, and I'm not going to pay some union guy some ridiculous amount of money to screw in a screw on something or carry stuff in. And you go to a trade show and they have a big thick exhibit book and all the rules and what the hell, I don't care. So we just carried our
Which you never read.
No. If you didn't read them, you didn't agree to them.
Yeah.
So it goes.
And they're absurd to begin with. So
yeah, and different cities are different. New York, a little tougher than say San Francisco or Chicago even. But out in San Francisco, we decided we'd carry everything in, including our roll of carpet for our booth. We had a car we were trying to bring in by ourselves. But I think the funniest was probably the carpet. So we literally brought the carpet out, had it in a truck. We're outside. There's 3 of us that we take the roll of carpet up on our shoulders, and we're just walking down the street with the carpet, coming in the convention center. It's all good. We go down the escalator because we can't get in the elevator, and we're trucking our way into the exhibit hall, and we almost make it through the door before the union Nazi on his bike comes rolling up, ding 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 in his bell, whatever, and stops us. So long story short, we ended up having to leave the carpet sitting there for hours, waiting for union people to come get it. But of course, then they had to get a lift to pick it up and haul it in, and I have no idea what that ended up costing me. I didn't want to look.
It would have made you too angry.
Yes, and we had to stand around with our thumbs somewhere for hours because we couldn't set our booth up because it's the carpet. It's the first thing we have to put in, and it was So maybe if I had spent $100 or something and had them do it, could have avoided all of that. But I don't know, funny. That's more funny for other people.
Yeah.
But
I thought you were going to go involving a flag, is where I thought you were going to go with the story based off that one, or what kind of your lead in there. But
yeah, why don't you tell that one?
well, I wasn't there, but this is kind of part of the legends of Steve, if you will. There was other companies kind of in a similar space, and they maybe had, and it's pretty common in booths and trade shows to have flags or other things kind of for your little area.
Sure.
And I don't want to say names of things for lawsuit reasons.
They're out of business now.
Oh, they're out of business. Okay, but I think Steve maybe took one of those flags from them and had it back at the office years later still.
And now they're out of business.
And now they're out of business.
Really good.
It worked.
Killed them. Yeah.
Killed them.
Oh yeah.
No,
we did lots of fun things to them.
One of my other favorite Steve stories, is I have a lot of good Steve stories, by the way, but we used to do this thing called the Steve swear count. Do you remember this?
Yes. Yes. I've tried to keep it down to single digits in this.
That you would say something, and maybe not even that horrible, but it would just, part of it was the fun of seeing the number go up.
Oh, yeah.
And we used to work with Nick Sherrill. Sometimes we'd call him Norm. He was really good at like catching something and then just doing it. It's harder than you think. Although I have learned how to say major issue, and I'm pretty good at saluting those now. It's easier to train yourself than you think, but he was really good the moment. And I still remember like Steve would like be telling us something, and like you'd be saying something to us, and probably really good information, but then he would just like turn, make him tick on the barkboard and go, and you could just see the moment it processed in your brain for a second, like kind of throw you off. It made it all worth it just to see that moment of your brain, like stop it.
So were there bonus points when I strung them together in a compound word?
I don't remember. I don't remember the rules. I think it was just 1 for 1.
For one, okay.
1 for 1, and like your office was right next to where we were all sitting. So also sometimes we could hear you like randomly, like swearing, and like just tick on the board and keep going. It was great. That was one of my.
Yeah, what people don't know is, I used to actually write code.
Yeah.
And swearing at inanimate objects is like my favorite pastime. It can't do anything back to you. And of course, your computer is never doing what you want it to do. Damn thing's only doing what you're telling it to do. And there's some translation that's lost there. And so yeah, it pisses you off. And
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Coding, I think people don't know this when getting into software development. I think it feels like people just think you read a book or do something. A large portion of it is you just have to be willing to grind past a lot of those early pains. There's a huge amount of grinding, and for some people, involves a lot of swearing to get through that grinding.
It's the process. It's the
Yeah,
process.
yeah.
This creative process
Yeah.
that can't be hurried here.
Yeah.
And,
That's like the rubber duck thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'd write software by walking around. I wouldn't
Yeah.
walk around. And this is what doesn't happen today either.
Yeah.
It's like you have something you need to work on. You might spend a week or two just thinking about it.
Yep.
And literally, I would just go for walks and think until it formed in my head, and then you go back and write code for a day, and you're done.
Yeah.
It's much the thing of like, somebody asks you to solve a problem, you come back and it took you an hour, that was easy. Yeah, well, no, it took a lifetime
Yeah.
for that. Same for software. Now,
Yeah.
people just code, or click, or
Click,
whatever
yeah.
they do. I don't even know how that works anymore.
Or prompt something,
prompt
and
something.
get something back, and then hopefully it's close.
Yeah. Well, we should talk about GPT.
Okay.
Or GTP, as a lot of people call it, or all the other variations, which I kind of was laughing at. But yeah, so for those who don't know, I've dabbled with AI since 1995.
Yeah.
After I read a book from a professor at MIT. So I don't claim to know that much about it, but I've
You've been
screwed around
involved
with
in
it
it
for a long
forever.
time and watched a lot of evolution and watched the hype cycles or the waves of hype come and go.
Where do you think
many
we're at on the
times.
hype cycle, by the way?
Well, all these crypto and Bitcoin and blockchain bros came in and screwed up our space. So I think the hype cycle is still very high.
Okay.
And I think that every time there are normal advancements, they get hyped even bigger now. And now we've got more things, more large language models and all this other stuff. People, they get more of a belief that AI is going to solve everything
Yeah.
or it's going to create every problem. And, at the end of the day, AI is about as stupid as it comes.
Yeah.
And I think anything like stuff that helps you coding or doing whatever, it can be a bit of an assistant. But if you really think you're going to replace people with AI for most any job, then you're either an idiot or Elon Musk. I'm not sure which, but, or one and the same.
One of the-
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, I mean it's people can reason deeply and can apply their experience, and you can't architect software with ChatGPT. I've heard people talk about, oh, well, there's a bug in this code, and you ask ChatGPT to find it, and that's great if that is something very simple. But this architecture is going to be problematic, and we're going to hit a roadblock on scaling it. So what should we change here? Good luck getting an answer for things like that. That if it's an easy problem, it can solve it, but I can solve it with a human cheaply too.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of those too, even what it's providing you there is, to me, it's like you and I both have a history of going far enough back where IntelliSense wasn't really a thing either, right? And I think people forget, at one point in time, you actually had to know the names of methods, which, to be honest, all of mine right now would be guesses. Because if I type that dot and it doesn't tell me what it is, I'm going to there's going to be a moment of panic. I can't do it. So, in the early 2000s, we started getting IntelliSense things that made it where I didn't have to know as much. It gave me a better first guess there.
sure, yeah.
And I think we're getting a better guess now.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that. I mean, you still have to know how to do things underneath. IntelliSense isn't going to tell you which method you need to use, but it'll help you get to the method you want. And I think a lot of the prompting and stuff that we're seeing is meant to do that and help us along. But if it's in the hands of people who are idiots,
You're
sorry,
we'll put like a little tally on the top right of this episode just for you. I will try to see if I can pull that off.
well, you need to be somewhat PG. So
we'll keep this to PG.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can actually bleep, so we'll see if I can pull that off.
Gotcha. Well, we'll see what the auto subtitles does.
Yeah.
On there.
Yeah.
It doesn't do so good because I slur my speech and I sound like I'm drunk.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I don't ever really look at those.
that's
but-
on purpose.
yeah.
It's much like facial recognition and try to obscure the beard and whatnot. But now I can't grow my hair long anymore, so I can't hide that.
Yeah.
So I'm screwed when I go to China.
China. Yeah. Now, what does normally we kind of go into the pizza real quick. What does everybody think of the pizza so far? And this is a Ramos. What is this? Their garden?
Just veggie.
Straight veggie. Straight veggie.
Yep.
So we got mushrooms and black olives and green peppers and
Onion, I think.
and some onion in there. So all of the things that aren't your first choice,
Well, half of
or
those aren't
second
my
or
first
third.
choice, yeah.
But it does have cheese and it's got bread and it's got some red sauce. So.
Yeah. Are you familiar with our scale?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We always
You're
make
the
the
first
guest judge
person
first.
to
That's
know
true.
what the scale is coming in.
Well, I did a little bit of research. Talked to a few folks.
Yeah.
What I'm getting myself into here. Well, I'm not really a pizza guy. I don't usually eat pizza.
You don't eat pizza?
Generally not.
Wow.
I know. I'm old, man. Back in my day, we didn't have pizza.
What? You had pizza back in your day? How old do you think you are?
It's the miles, baby.
It's the miles.
Yeah, no, my kids eat lots of cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza or whatever, and those are a 10, of course, because I make those, I make the crust and all that jazz. But I like to have some bread to the pizza typically, even though it's sometimes considered a waste. Put the meat on, but I'm not a meat guy. If you want to eat meat, that's put that in your mouth. That's fine. It's okay. There's your Ben.
That
Tribute to Ben.
Yes.
No, I like the mix of vegetables. There's not really a vegetable I don't like. I thought maybe spinach and tomato would be a great one for your teeth while we're on video, but you opted for this one, so that's a smart move. I think they're all cooked really pretty well, but you can't really go wrong there. So I'm gonna say a 7.
Okay.
Straight 7. I know you're a decimal guy, but
Yeah.
I don't like the decimals. I think we're getting way too granular, but that's me.
I like my resolution.
Yeah.
You just said last week you wish you could differentiate a little bit.
Well, I just I moved the number down 1. It still worked.
you don't have to have any sort of like binary split you need to do in there. And
It does feel like we're building that binary tree, right? So we can do that, but
yeah, I mean, as you go and you go, well, dang, I gave that pizza a 4, and that protein pizza really needs to be lower. What do I do?
That one was the worst
Stuck.
one.
It was bad.
The protein pizza that was the Doug recommendation for the Bill episode was rough.
Yeah. Which
That
might
was
have been
rough.
because it was Bill. I doubt Doug actually likes that pizza.
I think he does.
I think he's trying to sabotage Bill.
And I do think it was-
I don't know. You can't trust a guy who had LinkedIn picture was in a dress.
That is true.
Just don't think you can trust that.
Yeah. That was another thing we did back in the day. We maybe could change Doug's profile once on LinkedIn. That's a while ago. I forgot about that.
That was the start of people never leaving their computer unlocked.
Yeah, that was-
I think that day. When Doug walked away from his computer and somebody had this horrible idea of changing his LinkedIn
Was it you?
picture. I can't confirm or
Okay.
deny that one.
Because I'll take credit for a lot of bad ideas, but I don't know if that was mine.
I think that might have been mine.
That was yours? Okay.
So you just had a picture of Doug in a dress ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
We always
so
do.
he came to a Halloween party, and I think his costume, he was misdemeanor.
Yeah.
And yeah, so of course I knew I would need that for blackmail later, so I took lots of
Okay.
pictures of
Yeah.
him. And
Do you have any pictures of Chad in a dress asking for a friend?
No.
no, but, no,
Nope. What? No. We'll pay off off screen.
Okay, gotcha. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It looks bad to have the bribes on video.
Venmo.
Yeah, Venmo. Actually, I don't have Venmo, but that's different. Yeah.
Your kids are old enough.
I
You should
know.
have Venmo.
I should have Venmo. It's
Or
a
have they moved past? What's their currency of choice?
I don't know, but my wife has to handle all of those things, and I'm okay with it.
Uh-huh.
Cash App.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a
Kids use
cash.
Cash
Well,
App a lot.
what?
Cash App's what I see.
Oh, really?
Like Gen Z a lot.
Oh.
They're all Cash App.
I use this
everything.
green stuff with numbers on it, and I hand it to people.
I
and
pay
they,
my kids in quarters. So.
Dirty.
like they get a big bag of quarters.
It's a shiny little nickel, son.
When I was a kid, you could play a video game for a quarter.
Exactly. I know. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't know. You can do something with a
Yeah.
quarter.
I don't know what you
Throw it
do.
back at me.
Yeah, throw it back at you at this
Yeah.
point. But no, I think I'll give this a 5. I think their crust is in general one of the better crusts out there. I'd like a little more flavor, probably some meat on this as well. The crust, I do think Ramos always has one of the better crusts. Bread-wise, I really like their bread, but yeah.
I almost want to go a 5 as well.
But now he doesn't because I said it. That's really the reason.
That's
That's
true.
true.
Got to get a point
We
somewhere.
can't agree on the same thing.
Yeah.
It's the best veggie we've had on the show for sure, and I think the crust and sauce take that a long way.
I still want to try that one with the garlic sauce. That was the
Yeah.
actual recommendation.
Yeah,
And I want to try
I think
that.
that'd help a little bit, but
You guys seem to have a garlic theme. I've noticed on things.
We do like garlic.
probably because we like people to stay away from us. Garlic breath all afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I buy the big tubs of garlic from like Costco.
Oh, really?
Sure.
You
Oh,
use
yeah.
that much?
Yeah,
Wow, we
you
use
know,
a
like
lot.
have some cereal, get some garlic. Some spaghetti, get some garlic.
Cereal with garlic?
Well, no.
Okay.
Maybe not. But pretty much anything else. I
Yeah,
mean,
a lot of other things is good.
yeah.
I double the garlic in every recipe I make with garlic, so it's just you instantly double it.
Yeah.
I'll just go at 5.1, just to be a little different.
There you go.
It's the best veggie we've had. It's probably going to be the best veggie we've had, unless we get a veggie that has some really crazy veggies on it that are unique and different. It tastes really good, but not that many mushrooms on it, which I think helped a bit, and olives aren't that offensive. A lot of onion and green pepper on there, which I liked a lot. So,
I like onion and green pepper.
yeah, I think
Those should be on.
if you just took the mushrooms and black olives off of that and I ate it without that, it'd probably be like 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah, just because Ramos pizza crust and sauce and everything is so good.
It seems like a very cost-effective pizza for them to make.
Yeah. They don't have to put much on it.
Yeah, get some
Yeah.
fungus and some plants.
Yeah, fungus. You don't even have to you have to even pay for fungus.
Yeah, you just leave the pizza in the shower for a week.
Yeah.
So what would you, if you guys were the ones picking the pizza, what would you have picked?
We're becoming kind of pizza experts. I just want to point this out. We're eating a lot of pizza.
Technically, we're pizza professionals.
Pizza. Oh, yeah, it's true.
Oh.
Pizza professionals.
I still think you need sponsorship here.
I do need sponsorship.
Then it'll be real official. I'm a sucker for anything with cream cheese, and I think most places that have a pepperoni cream cheese, it's the best pie they've got. So the Ramos pepperoni cream cheese is one of my favorites. but put jalapenos on it, and it's a 10.
So you buy a pizza so no one else will eat it, and you get it to yourself. So, I like that.
I'm being exposed.
The Ramos pepperoni cream cheese, we had that. I think that was the Bo episode. Is that right?
No, Jamie. Bo was Isles.
Oh, Jamie. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That was a really good pizza.
Yeah.
It was a really good pizza. That was kind of like the moment where I was like, they make great pizza. I didn't know that. I think many of us, our Ramos experiences tend to be late night ordering pizza, and you don't maybe have the best ability to discern at that point. So I think so in general, I really like that one. I'm going to always come back. I think it's the highest one I've ranked so far, and it is one of my favorites. The Casey's Taco Pizza. Especially with the taco sauce on. I love Casey's Pizza in general. I realize they're kind of a gas station pizza.
No, they have fantastic pizza. What about the breakfast pizza?
They're known for pizza.
That's great too. We haven't eaten that on the show yet, but I love that pizza too.
Yeah, that's OG.
There you go.
I love both of them, the sausage and the bacon. I think I like the sausage a little better from Casey's, but both are great.
Ben did say you like the sausage.
That does sound like a Ben comment. If you didn't know Ben,
Hey.
he very well could say that later.
He has been a huge influence in my life.
Oh, I love Ben. We will have him on at some point.
Oh yeah, he is the legend.
Yes, he is legendary. Yes.
I am the has-been. He is the yes.
I don't know if that episode will be able to show anywhere. I just want to point that one out. We'll do a Ben episode, but I'm pretty much sure we're gonna have to destroy that.
That's on Patreon.
For legal reasons. Oh.
Yeah, the premium episode.
Premium episode only available for Patreon. Yes.
The OG with
Todd.
and the Ben episode.
Yes.
On the premium.
There you go.
We did
yeah.
a
You may have to do an on-site with Ben to see some of the he smelts his own metals and alloys.
Really?
Yeah,
What is he doing that for?
because he can.
Oh.
Because
Is he melting all the soda cans on his desk?
and I don't know. He made bronze,
What?
and I'm like,
Wow.
dang, yeah. The dude is he is like a Renaissance man,
Wow.
and he still writes code.
Does he wear tights?
I'm gonna have to decline to answer that.
Okay. Just Renaissance.
Got that picture somewhere else.
Yeah.
I think you could. If you want a picture of him wearing tights, I'm sure we can generate one.
I don't want it. Well, I don't really want one generated or otherwise, to be quite honest with you. But when you said that, that was where my brain went, though. Just so you know, was
Well-
Ben in tights.
This is what you got to work with. He wants to see men in tights. Okay.
Ben in tights. I don't want
I
that.
think that's the episode theme. I think she got it.
Ben in
Men in
tights.
tights.
He definitely doesn't want that. Definitely.
You know he would come in wearing tights
I am
and nothing
confident.
but tights.
I'm confident we can get him to do that. Yes. I'm confident this episode is for the Patreon only people. And I don't know if we can do that because the blowback will. YouTube will cancel that and kill that episode for sure for some reason.
Oh.
For good reasons too.
Yeah, you have to give Ben some slack. Poor guy he's been traumatized being around me. We talk about funny pranks. That should have been the questions. What's the funniest pranks?
What is the funniest prank?
Well, it's the funniest. Maybe it's the cruelest, but
I like the cruelest. That's maybe a good way to judge
Ben
one
was
too.
young when we were working together and not real worldly yet, and so we were out in San Francisco.
Oh, no.
Visiting my friend Alan, and Alan is as big a prankster as I am. We go get sushi and come back with this huge amount of sushi, and so we had so much sushi they proportioned wasabi, and so they had scoops of wasabi in a styrofoam container. And so one of us got the wise idea to tell Ben it was mint ice cream. And so Ben took a spoon and took a big old scoop of it. And about
Really killed you.
2 minutes later, I really started to feel kind of bad. I thought I was going to have to call his mom and say, I killed your son.
Oh man, that stuff's hot.
I think it was the only time I've heard him say, Kiene, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's ever forgiven me for that. I did feel some remorse for that.
That's a rough one.
Yes, that was. I didn't think it all the way through what would actually happen.
I could have seen myself do that one to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was planning on torturing you guys on the pizza, and I forgot my plan. So
What was
Do
that?
you know what lava dust is?
No.
It's spice mixture from the oven.
Oh.
Very hot, very hot. You know, get vindaloo sauce
Yeah.
and all that. No, lava dust.
Huh.
And
Could you eat it?
I'd never used to eat anything spicy, and then because I destroyed my stomach with too much caffeine and Advil and other
Oh.
things. In my
You don't
early
drink caffeine
20s.
anymore?
No, I do now. Again,
Oh, okay,
but,
okay.
Well, you know how I used to drink
Yeah,
caffeine.
yeah. That's how I drink caffeine.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
well, that's
I-
one thing we do. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I used to buy Jolt Cola by the pallets,
Yeah.
literally, and get a truck. Semi would show up, but and then Advil because of my hands. But then you have no more stomach lining. But
Yeah, that one has a. Yeah, that's a. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway, but no. So I started to build up my. You eat the more spicy food you eat, the more tolerance you get to the point of the one chip challenge. Yeah, that's not that big a deal. It's freaking hot, you know. Drink some milk first and whatever. But then I think I overdid it to some degree, and then started having bleeding ulcers again. And so it's like now I'm kind of just mild spicy at the moment while I work back up.
Wow.
But
So you could have put that stuff on here. You could have ate
So-
it, but we wouldn't have been able to.
it would have been hotter than heck, but you know I would have suffered through it.
Just to watch us
I thought,
suffer?
yeah, I'd spring on there and just stuff. Like,
Put it in the
"Jeez."
sleeve and reaches over and kind of
Yeah,
drops
'cause
it.
Yeah.
it's a really fine powder. You know, that's kind
Do they
of
sell it there? Can you buy it?
just when you go order foods, they can have some lava dust, and it's
Comes out on the side and then you can add.
yeah. I sprinkle it on there, and my girlfriend she just pours it on there, but
So food's not too hot for her then at all.
I haven't found a food that's too hot for her yet. Wow. Although she hasn't stepped up for the one chip challenge yet, but.
But if she can do that, she can probably.
I'd have to do it as well, and I think that might kill me this time around.
So you're not going to do that.
Yeah, but
Okay.
no, she's that's actually I think how I won her over was eating spicy food at the oven.
Why are you with this guy? He can eat spicy food at the oven.
So no, I think she suffered some sort of brain damage at some point, and for some reason like her picture view of me is different than reality, but
Because
I'll
of
take
that.
it.
Yeah,
I'll take
yeah,
it. I'll
yeah.
take it. Yeah, no, I am the luckiest guy in the world.
Oh, that's good.
On that one. So
Cool.
Anyway, getting a little too personal, but so you and I don't really know much about each other.
No, not really.
I've heard your name so many times, and
I mean, it's
stuff,
usually
and I know-
followed or preceded by a 4-letter word.
like me, like Jeff.
Yeah. Actually, that's a good point. No, every person is go down.
It's like you're in trouble.
Yeah.
If somebody's named Jeff. Yeah. So I mean, I know your backstory and your past and whatever, but why are you still here? Like that everybody's why you came here, but like what about whatever is make this home for you? I've always been curious.
Probably the people. Like, just I get along with pretty much everybody here. I feel very comfortable, asking for help and seeking guidance and growing, like in my career, around everybody here. So that's probably the biggest thing. I have a lot of fun every day at work. I mean, not a lot of days go by where I'm like, okay, that something fun didn't happen today. So, but yeah, probably mostly just people.
Thing. Hey, well, that's what culture is.
Yeah, that is culture. Yeah.
Yeah, culture isn't ping pong tables and all that
Yeah.
shit. It's the people and how you feel around people. So
And that's what pulled me in to begin with. I kind of knew Beebs adjacently to other people, and then when he got me that first interview, I was like, oh, well, there must be more people like Beebs there. And then the more people I met, I was like, oh yeah, all these people are like Beebs. They're all super chill and super friendly and helpful. And yeah, I was like, I could be that guy too. So that's why I think I try to be super friendly and helpful, and, especially with the younger folks, because I got that, even though I wasn't one of the younger people when I came into the industry, I got that same experience.
we're young into the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the least I can do is try to help everybody else when they get here too. So
I think that's an awesome attitude.
yeah, I try.
We just got to get you in more laid back clothing and stuff.
Oh yeah.
I used to be a
I
little.
mean, I don't know
more
what the.
This is just for the podcast for you.
What,
This is the podcast for you.
dressed up for me.
Yes, this is for
I
you.
dressed up for this.
Underneath, I do have a standard DPL shirt on.
I do kind of like got the Acuvera, and underneath I have
Yeah.
you double layer it.
And how? Real quick,
I never get any DPL swag, so I gotta wear this crap.
I will go track you down immediately after this. If I can
We're
get
about
you
to
some.
jump cut, and then he's wearing DPL.
Yeah. I'll get you. We'll find some DPL here.
Yeah, so a really super quick.
I'll get you like an extra small.
That's why I make my girlfriend wear it.
Yeah.
Actually, that would fit her. So a really sad story. Brian Sutter, who is more legendary than me for sure, called me. He was an original Mind Vision
Oh, yeah.
guy. He called me the other day. He's like, "Oh man," he's like, "I had an Accelerate hat. We did hats at our other company, and he's like, it's finally worn out. And it's like, do you have any? Sadly, I have no Mind Vision or Accelerate gear at all. My ex-wife threw it all out when I was gone. So I have not a single T-shirt, hat, nothing.
I don't think I do.
I know. But I have a plan. I have a plan here. So think back to when we sold the Accelerate, 2006,
Yes.
right? Next year's 2026. I'm thinking 20-year reunion.
Oh yes, and get some shirts.
Yes,
Some
yes,
tie-dyed shirts.
yes. It's my roundabout way to get some shirts. So I just got to go find the old logos, do some Mind Vision swag, get everybody back together.
Yeah.
Who's still
We have the actual rocket somewhere, right? We used to.
probably.
Yeah. Is it
I
in
know
deep
where it was
thought?
at the previous office. I don't know where it's at this office.
I bet it's in deep thought. Though it might
Is
be
that-
on the floor because it's in two pieces.
Yeah, it's kind of broken.
Well, you know.
Yeah, yes, we still have that.
Rockets fall down.
Yeah,
sometimes
right. Yeah,
and
they
break.
fall. It happens.
You know, you just build another
Yeah,
one.
but build another rocket.
Yeah, no, I think that'd be great.
Yeah,
It's
that'd
like
be
It might be kind of sad thinking 20 years. Can it be really 20 years?
Yeah.
But I mean,
Wow.
I'm 54. And I'm like, when the hell did that happen? You know,
Yeah.
it was a sad day for me when we finally hit a point where I hired somebody younger than me. I think I had gotten, I don't know, like 8 years into business before I finally hired somebody younger than me. And I'm like, I think it was Ben. Like, now it's like you can't find
Like
anybody
somebody
older
old.
than me. It's just, it has changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you kind of have an interesting story, kind of history of getting into software as well, right?
Well, I don't know if it was interesting, but I mean, the very, very first, thinking back to summer school, I'm trying to get which story you're going for. There's so many stories that I've made up.
are-
I don't remember which ones.
I guess I was thinking. I mean, there's a whole bunch of stories involving you, kind of from those early years. There's obviously one of my personal favorites is how creative you were at making sure you attended. I think it was your sister's track meet.
Oh,
That was a really good one.
yeah.
But then there's also some of the early days of Mind Vision, the early days of kind of some of those things are pretty good as well. But
Well, you know, a lot of things, stories, they exaggerate, but no. So,
and real quick, does anybody want a secondary pizza? Secondary pizza?
Is there pizza?
Piece of pizza. I'm not gonna eat a whole nother piece.
Well,
I'm going in for another one.
there you go.
You haven't even eaten a whole piece yet.
I'm talking too much.
Okay, all right.
I'm
We'll
having
give you-
too
we'll
much-
give you a break.
I'm having too much fun with
Okay,
you guys.
we'll give you a break at some point. But
Yeah, no. So the track meet story. So I guess this is maybe when I knew I was well, I don't know what you want to call it, but
you knew you were going software.
well, yeah,
Right?
yeah. So I mean, I was in high school, and you know, your guidance counselors. Oh, you got to do this. You got to get ready for college. You got to apply to colleges. You got to do all this stuff. So I'm applying to colleges and whatever, or a college, and got accepted to MIT, whatever. But you have to finish high school. You have to have enough credits to get your diploma, and somehow through no fault of my own, I didn't get enough credits. But I always defend myself saying I thought I did, that you could get 5 credits if you had a job, a work study
Yeah.
thing, and you had to work like 10 hours a week. It's like no problem. I'm averaging like 60 hours a week. So hey, I can get lots of credits for work. So no problem. I'll have plenty of credits to graduate. I don't have to take these other classes. So I get to the end of school, and then I get this letter of, oh, well, you need to attend summer school because you don't have enough credits to graduate. And so I argued my case unsuccessfully because you're just dealing with box checkers. They just want to check a box, and well, they can't check the box. So, like, well, shit, okay, so high school graduation coming up, I'm not going to be named here. This is not going to go well. I don't think my parents are going to be happy about this. And I don't want to go to summer school. So luckily, the same weekend as my graduation, my sister had a big track meet in Okoboji. And so me, being such a loving brother and a great son, I sacrificed going to my graduation so we could go to her track meet and watch her and support her. So then there was, I don't know, the diploma, couldn't find it, got lost, don't know what happened, and then it got forgotten about, and nobody actually asked.
So you pretty much had your own company at that point, right?
Yeah, I started my company the summer after my junior year.
Yeah.
Co-founded it with a friend, to give him credit, so we both started that, because what else do you do during the summer? Just start a company. And so, yeah, we did that, and so once high school is finished, I don't want to go to college, graduated or not. I'm tired of school and I want to work. So I started working, and the whole issue of not graduating high school never came up.
Because you ran your own company, right?
Yeah, everybody just assumed. And I even, at one point, I did take a class at UNL, took CS 151, because I thought it'd be a great way to go find
other
young
people.
students
Yep.
and hire meet girls or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, but I had to get enrolled to do that. And talking to the head of the computer science department, he called some people or did whatever he did to get me enrolled so that I could do that. But I was enrolled as an unclassified grad student. So, I hadn't finished high school and gone to college. Here I am as a grad student, but as a grad
classified student.
Yes, a grad student can take any class.
Yep.
And so could take that. So that I don't know how not my intent to work through all these hoops, but what all this stuff taught me was that you don't have to follow the rules if you don't want to, which wasn't a good lesson to learn. But I think other lessons in life taught me really, you need to follow a good moral code, and rules are guidelines perhaps, but you need to be a good model and do what's right. And if the rules are a little bit different, well, maybe so be it. But if we all followed rules, nobody'd start companies and nobody'd hack software
And sorry, I'm going to take you down a little bit more memory lane here.
Oh God. Okay. It's like.
I'll let you eat for a second while I set this one up. I'll give you I'll extend this more than we probably should.
Yeah, colors a picture.
That's okay. You found.
There's, people don't really experience this today, but if you had a computer back in the 80s, 90s, the amount of memory you had was critical, right? It was super important. Everybody knew how much memory their computer had. There's a good chance a lot of people watching this on their computer would be like, I don't know what this has, because it's not as relevant today. My phone has some amount of memory. I don't know what it is, and it's not relevant. Back in the 80s, 90s, it was very relevant, and anything you could do to optimize that was important. And you had probably one of the more clever optimizations of memory, right?
How about compressing
Yeah.
memory? Yeah.
Especially for, I want to point out, you're doing this at 20 years old as well, right?
Something like that. Where I know,
I mean, it was probably a problem for you too, right? You were
Yeah.
probably really suffering this problem. You wanted more, right? So.
Oh yeah. I mean, we had problems, on an Apple II. I mean, you had 48K of memory. And for people who don't know, a K is 1,000. You get megabytes, gigabytes, terabytes now. Nobody talks about K anymore because
nobody even knows what that means. Yeah.
it's like the penny.
Yeah.
It'll go away soon.
Yeah.
And you had 48,000 bytes of memory to use, which you
Every image.
every pixel takes up more than on a phone now. So so you never had enough, and you always had to do things. And on the Apple Macintosh, the original, you know, well, the advanced one had a megabyte of memory. Whoa, that's a lot. But not even that wasn't enough to do things.
Yep.
And so we wrote stuff to basically like a poor man's virtual memory system where we would swap code out and bring code in to execute that and then take it back out and all kind of without it. And then processors came out to do that kind of stuff. And but one of the, I don't know what story you want me to tell here that's quick, but
What is like how you were, kind of using the processor to compress pieces of memory that weren't being used.
So I guess this is a podcast for technical people. I mean, you've got speed of access and ease of access. Memory is very fast access. Disk is very slow. SSDs are faster now, but still disks were orders of magnitude slower. And if you didn't have enough physical memory, you needed more, you could take a chunk of it, write it to disk, now free that space up, use it for something else, write it to disk, pull the other piece back in. But every time you read and write to the disk, it's very slow. It's very painful. So, well, memory's fast, CPU's fast, disk is slow. Well, why the hell are we using the disk? Why are we writing it to the disk? Why don't we take chunks of it, compress it, store it in another part of memory, and then free that space up and compress and decompress it? So you have to be able to compress and decompress fast to do that. So you've got to be efficient with the code you write, and that's a whole other story of instruction caches and data caches and things that nobody knows about anymore, because I don't know how big is the data cache on your CPU and your computer.
I have no idea.
Exactly. We don't care.
No one does.
It's big enough.
Yes, big
Things
enough.
are fast enough. There's always more cycles. And a friend used to say, it's like every second you can do whatever 8 million things or whatever speed your processor was. But no, so it was faster to, if you could compress faster than the disk could write, then it was faster to keep it in memory, and kind of extended that into to a variety of things.
Very clever kind of, yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same principles apply today, but you have disks, you have memory, you have the internet, and you have something on the other end, and it blows my mind, things like cloud gaming, where you've got somewhere in the cloud, it is rendering some video, it's sending information across, it's getting up on your screen, and how that's fast enough, and latency imbalances are negated for fast gaming or whatever. I don't play games, but
Yeah.
I'm
I'm always shocked on that one too because of the latency. I'm always like, well, you have to encode it and get it there. And that always feels to me like it has to be horrible, but I know that people are doing it.
Yeah, I know. Maybe we're all living in this latency-induced world, and
We're just
everything
okay
is
with
like
it.
everything is like a second or two behind, but we don't know it.
Yeah.
And
with certain things, it doesn't really matter. Like watching a video doesn't matter, but gaming is the one thing with that input.
whatever your input is has to be in sync with whatever. And if there's, I don't know, we could get into some theories here on this stuff, but you also got to keep it in sync. If everybody has to have kind of the same latency.
Yeah.
But yet, you got people who buy different video cables because they think it's less latency for their
video
video game
games.
or their keyboard. Read things about USB keyboard cables. I'm like, dudes, it's digital and it's timed.
Yeah.
But
Or I know people care a lot about the refresh on their monitors as well, which, for gaming purposes. And I'm assuming it probably does really matter, but I can't tell.
well, I don't know. I'm old. My brain can't do something in a 60th of a second.
Yeah.
So if it's
I can't
120 hertz or not, I don't really think I'm gonna. No, I mean,
When you
I
see
don't know.
144, it's pretty smooth.
I don't know. My monitor at home is 240, and
Yeah.
my girlfriend bought me this monitor that's like this freaking wide for Christmas. It's like two 32-inch 4K monitors together.
Oh.
Thing is freaking
Yeah.
massive, and it's like so big that like
Did you almost worry about sunscreen?
I have space. Yeah, it's curved. It's curved, so I can just kind of hide in
I
here and nobody knows I'm in here. But no,
You like
it's,
the curved?
it's.
The curved, I think, mentally bothers me, but
I like a slight curve. At
You
work,
do?
I have two Dells that are slightly curved. This is way more curved. It's too much curve, but it's awesome for a flight simulator.
okay.
Which is mainly what I build it for.
Okay.
But it's so big that I can waste space. I don't need to maximize a window. I just set it over here, make it kind of big. Like here, it's plenty big, and it's still got lots of space around it. And it's kind of crazy. It's like, wait a minute, that's, I remember this tiny little monitor,
Yeah.
I've got 40 characters across and 24 characters down, and I've got no graphics. And
Or think of the Apple II. They had you could do graphics at the top, but then had text at the bottom, right, or something.
yeah, the high-res mode, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, well, now you're getting people going, what the hell?
Yeah. You just can't have graphics with colors.
Yeah, and you have to, depending on where the pixel is, it can't be this color. Over here, it can be that color.
Yeah.
And
There was weird rules and weird things back in the day.
it was fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Somebody wrote a digital, they wrote software that would properly represent what the old Apple II display would do. Yeah.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
I don't know, maybe ChatGPT could do that for
Yeah,
us.
you probably could try.
There we go.
It'll give us something that almost works.
Yeah.
You've been around, in software, and you've had many companies. Where do you think kind of we're going? We've talked about some of the AI, LLMs, and all of that.
Where are we going?
Where are we going?
We're going up, baby.
We're going up. Straight to Mars?
As a society, as programmers, as what? Give me, frame me in here a little bit, and I'll make up.
How is
something.
software development going to change in the next 10 years?
Well, if you believe a lot of people, we won't need programmers. I think that the only people that are saying that are people that aren't good programmers.
And the ones that make money on getting you to invest in their LLM companies. I think there's a lot of invest in that because we're going to have AGI in the next 2 years, so you better invest in OpenAI. I think there's just some investment.
Absolutely, and
Seeding.
Every day you read about somebody who's like, oh, well, I use ChatGPT and AI built this software for my company and whatever. And yeah, show me a successful company that their software was written by AI, not by programmers. I'd like to see one.
There's none.
I mean, you can whip up a quick prototype, or it's like no code programming now. Well, that kind of came and went real quick, didn't it? And that's not the first time it's been there. I mean, hey, how about turtle graphics? That was almost no code or Scratch. I mean,
Scratch.
What does it mean? What does no code even mean? But you can't get away from the need of logic in writing software. You can't get away from the need for architecture.
Yep.
That will always exist. I mean, you could have shit architecture and have a Tesla.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you need software engineers who understand beyond writing code. The writing code part, yeah, maybe we keep getting more levers for what we do. IntelliSense was a great example of things, or frameworks and libraries and things. There's always more leverage, always creates more abstraction, but you still have architectural decisions to make, and I'd argue today they're almost more important than ever, and will continue to be so. And if we're not going to teach anybody to code, because they don't think we need coding, we're never going to evolve people into being architects.
Yeah.
So we can stop coding, we can just let AI do everything, but we'll cap ourselves out real quick on what we can do. So that will then create a demand. And so somebody will go learn, and we'll always have the need that I don't think AI really is going to do that much useful for people who want to be experts at what they do. Low-paying jobs, sure. I mean, if we want to use AI to determine who gets Social Security, okay, great, that's fine. But somebody's got to write it.
Yeah, someone still has to write that, and on something like that, there's going to be laws or regulations around it. So someone's going to have to verify those as well, even what is generated, and probably do a decent amount of testing because it's involved dollars. People are going to care a lot.
Yeah, it's all about leverage. And one of the things about the .NET Framework and Visual Studio when Microsoft came out with it that I was such a proponent and that was just so amazed was, to me, it created this huge lever that you now brought in way more programmers who could write code in production for bigger systems because of the tools you put around it, the guardrails, the leverage that you created. And that's what I think .NET was all about, was saying, we've got whatever number of programmers in the world, we need 10 times more, and we're not going to get that the way we're doing it. We've got to make lower skilled, lower experienced people able to be more productive and less error prone to expand the output of the whole system.
I think that's what actually the last 20 years has been a lot about, trying to get more people capable of doing things. And to me, LLMs are going to be the first chance to making some of those, maybe not no-code tools, but lower efforts to be more viable. Because I think all those low-code tools because there's such a closed ecosystem on all of them, they're almost unuseful. They set you up for failure because you get 80% and then you're toast.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, I got to start over now. I'm assuming this will help and maybe help that world a little bit. I still think we're in a world where, I agree. For the next 10 years, people are writing code. And if they don't know how to do it, the LLMs are only going to help them make worse situations probably for themselves, most of them. So I think we're in a world where we're teaching programming for a while.
Yeah, I think so. I used to complain about Ruby. Same
Oh, yeah.
thing. It's like, well, Ruby's great. You can stand something up real quick, but as soon as you need to get outside that box, you're screwed. You got to go over to a real language.
Yeah. But that's kind of an apt example of it gets you so far, but then once you're out, you're kind of you're sunk.
Yeah.
And I am a little. One thing I do wonder about is the tools might make it easier for people to get that first piece, so they don't learn the deeper problems. I am a little worried that we're going to stunt growth of people going forward.
There's
Yeah.
much scaffolding at the bottom, and they don't learn that basic stuff.
Well, I'm going to try and experiment with my 8-year-old daughter. When she, probably this year, that I'm going to sit her down in front of an Apple II. Because with an Apple II, you turn the power button on and you have a prompt. And you can literally type, print hello, and it will do that. And you can put line numbers in front and write a program right there. That's what you've got to work with. It's immediate and it's direct.
Yeah.
And we could argue it's not assembly language, but it's direct enough. I think like my 9-year-old, he's writing in Lua and stuff, doing stuff for Roblox or whatever. But that's so abstracted away that he writes a few lines of code from a book, and it's a whole damn game.
It gives him.
He doesn't know what's underneath it. So I want her to start from the underneath and just see what happens there. Yeah. But one of the other things I think, you didn't ask me this, but that has changed significantly was back in my day, when we first invented electricity, if you wanted to have a program, you had to type it in.
Yeah.
And so you buy a magazine that's got a program in it, and you're typing it in. Well, guess what? You made mistakes in there. You got to figure it out. You got to find those mistakes.
I remember doing that exact same thing when I was a kid.
And you learn how to debug software as you're learning how to code.
It's a big. And today the tools are so good at finding those errors for you. Back then, in like some sort of basic or something, it was just like error on line 16, and it might not even have been that line. It could have been one of the lines above it was the real core problem, and you're just like,
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a fundamental. We learned fundamentals at the very beginning along the way. Now, we've abstracted too much, and it corrects it for you or whatever, or protects you, and that what isn't so good. I mean, you could say we move slowly, but I don't think so. I mean, we're the ones that are writing all the damn software that all the kids are using. So I'm not sure the way we learned was all that bad.
Yeah. No, my early programming was I had a book that told me what all the commands were, and nothing else. And so I knew what the print. I knew what that existed or some of those things, but I had nothing else to help. So I was basically it was all experimentation. You'd do this and you'd see something, oh, that worked. Or I think everybody at some point in the 80s and 90s, before they knew, like in the case of .NET, you'd be thread.sleep. They didn't know those, so you had to do like a for loop to try to get us to pause. I guess I'll do this. Or you're like, well, that's a horrible way, because if one machine is going to behave differently than the next machine, so you quickly run into some of those things. I don't know. I think a lot of people have that common history of some weird things they had to kind of almost just organically learn.
Yeah, I think that's so. I mean, I think it speaks to creativity, problem solving, ingenuity,
and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, when I started programming the Macintosh, I pirated or stole a copy of the compiler because I didn't have the money to buy it.
They used to cost money.
Yes, software costs money. Yeah, it was like $200 in way back time, 1988.
Yeah, that's like $2 million today.
Yeah, or 8 Bitcoin.
Yeah. I don't know what that means.
I don't either, but it'll be different by the time the episode airs. But
higher or lower.
Yeah, so I pirated that and I taught myself that, but I didn't have any books on how to program Macintosh. But there are things called interface files in Pascal or header files in C that you have. Well, the compiler had those things, so that if you typed new dialogue, something, whatever, it would know that that's an allowed procedure in language. So I just printed out the interface files
And used them.
and read through them and found names that, hey, look, these names seem to make sense. I'm going to do this, do that, and that's how I learned how to program for the first couple of years, or maybe a year.
Yeah.
And then I discovered there's these the books from Apple called Inside Macintosh that were the documentation for all of those things. And so I got that, and then that's when I decided, screw school, I'm just going to bring these to school and read. And nobody wanted me to write a report on that, and to write a report on, who assassinated Kennedy or something. But that
Still
thing
unknown.
of,
Some of that you got to learn over. There's some time effort, or some time amount helps there.
yeah, absolutely, and mature,
Yeah,
mature or
mature.
whatever. But
I don't know if anybody will argue that you and I are mature, so that's maybe not good. Based on our conversations here, we're not going to win that argument.
hey, well, we do wear shoes now, at least. So,
I've always worn shoes.
well, okay,
Yeah, I've always worn shoes.
That's-
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I do remember.
Did you have the shoes on when you were in the bathroom?
Yes, I had shoes on in the bathroom.
Okay. Because I wasn't looking at your feet.
Yeah. All right.
I think we covered.
Yeah, all right. All right. This has been a great episode, a fun episode. I don't know how much we'll be able to keep in the final version. Maybe not anything, but it was fun.
Yeah. Traditionally, we let people recommend the pizza that we
Oh, yeah.
are going to get in the future. Is there a pie you want to recommend
Yeah.
for a future victim? I mean, guest on the show?
Yeah. We're not going to put, what was that dust called?
Lava dust?
We're not putting lava dust on anybody's pizza.
I tried the lava dust. I
Oh,
tried.
Okay.
come on.
I don't think I've tried.
Ghost
You gotta
pepper
let-
sauce.
we won't tell you it's there.
I think you need to go completely different direction. I think like a margarita pizza.
Okay.
Or actually, no, scratch that. Russ, edit that one out. Just rewind here.
Rewind. Just rewind.
Do a morning episode and do the Casey's breakfast pizza.
That could be pretty good.
I could do that.
Coffee and brekkie pizza.
I love breakfast pizza.
Yeah.
And if the person on the episode doesn't like it, then just throw them off.
Yeah, I agree.
There's something wrong with
Yeah,
it.
something wrong with them.
Yeah,
We'll do
they're-
Ben. That
they're
way,
not right.
if we throw him off, I won't feel bad about it.
Just ask him if he wants some wasabi on it.
I'll do that. Have a little bowl of it. Would you like some mint?
Bring some mint ice cream and ask him if he likes some
I will.
wasabi.
We will if we have been on. We will have mint ice cream for all of us, and we'll all set it out there, and you and I will be very cautious not to eat it. We'll be acting like.
Poor Ben.
Oh, I love that guy.
I love Ben.
Yeah, he's great.
He's one of my favorite humans.
Oh yes, he's a great human, but I do want to do that to him.
Well, he brings it on himself, much like I do.
We put mint ice cream on top of wasabi in his ice cream, so we do get it. And you and I are just eating some mint ice cream.
He knows where I live. This is going to be a problem.
Actually, I feel okay with this. I'm not seeing a negative for me. I'm getting a good laugh regardless. And if he goes to your house, it only gets better.
If we record it, it's content.
Yeah, it's important. It's content. Look at the best content we have.
It's true.
Ben goes and attacks after.
I feel like he's going to bring his torch and just cut my gate down. And
I'm fine with that again. I would want to videotape though. I'm gonna have to talk to him.
well, there's a camera, so
Yeah. Oh, there you go. Perfect.
I'll have the footage.
Cool. We will want that.
Okay. Well, it was fun, guys. I appreciate you having me over. And
Thank you for being on. If you've got a good wasabi story, leave it in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. And tune in next week for, I don't know who,
We don't have anyone yet.
but it'll probably be something from Ramos.
Yeah. We should do Harry. You mentioned that earlier. Harry would
should
be a
do
really
Harry.
good one as well.
Yeah.
all right.
Sure.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Thanks.